The woods were too quiet. Mickey kept his pace steady, but his hand never drifted far from his weapon. He'd been out in the wastes long enough to know when silence wasn't natural, it was deliberate. The trees here didn't creak, the wind barely touched the ground. Even the birds, if there were any left, had decided to shut up. Behind him, the scavenging crew he was escorting trudged along, boots crunching over dead leaves and moss-covered concrete. They were good people, nervous but decent. The kind Terminus still managed to churn out when it wasn't falling apart. They trusted Mickey, maybe too much. "They're adapting," Ryder had said before they split. "You sure?" "I don't guess." That conversation had clung to him like smoke since the moment he stepped outside the walls. Demons were always a nightmare, but smart ones. That changed everything. The group passed under what used to be a roadside sign, now twisted metal and ivy. Mickey's horse sense prickled. He slowed. "Hold up," he muttered, just loud enough. They stopped. No complaints. That alone told him they felt it too, even if they didn't know what it was. He scanned the tree line. The light here was dimmer, the forest thicker. Overgrown suburban decay, fences long crumbled, plastic toys half swallowed by moss, windows staring empty from gutted houses. The kind of place you'd expect ghosts, not demons. But the difference out here? One could gut you. The other was a story. A branch snapped off to the right. Not the kind that falls, the kind that gets stepped on. Mickey didn't hesitate. He turned, blade sliding from its sheath with a clean rasp, and dropped into a ready stance. "Blades out," he said flatly. "Something's watching." The scavengers moved slower than he liked, but they obeyed. One fumbled, another swore under his breath. The wind picked up, just a touch, enough to carry a scent with it. Rot. It was faint but familiar, not quite human, not quite dead. Mickey's eyes narrowed as he stared into the trees, muscles wound tight. Something was there, and it hadn't run. It was waiting. The group had fallen quiet. Even the crunch of boots on dead leaves softened, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Mickey's hand rested near his blade. His eyes flicked between movement and shadow. Learning to spot the difference was the difference out here. The difference between coming back and not. A broken swing swayed in the wind, its rusted chains creaking above a moss-covered yard. Plastic toys, once bright and stupidly cheerful, lay cracked and faded, half swallowed by the earth. A stuffed animal with no eyes slumped in the mud. This place hadn't been touched in decades. Or maybe it had, just not by people. He raised a hand. The group froze. "Something's watching us," he said low, like it would matter. Like the things out here gave a damn about whispers. One of the scavengers shifted nervously, his hand gripping a makeshift spear. "Day demon?" "Maybe," Mickey murmured. "But it's not showing itself. That's not like them." A crow took flight from a rooftop with a sharp cry. The trees ahead shivered. "Circle up," Mickey said, "weapons out." And just like that, the silence broke. The silence after the noise was always worse. Mickey stood still, one boot forward, hand resting on the hilt of his blade. His eyes scanned the forest, trained and cold. The others behind him, 3 scavengers and a guard, shifted nervously, blades half drawn. The trees here were denser. Old pine and twisted oaks coiled together with vines and moss. What light made it through felt grey and cold. The remnants of old lives were everywhere, a rusted mailbox buried in ivy, a child's tricycle half swallowed by soil, the broken husk of a house staring with shattered windows. Mickey's fingers tapped twice against the hilt. A signal. Hold. Then it came again. Crunch. Not the sound of claws or something slithering. Boots. Purposeful. Confident. Mickey shifted his weight, drawing his blade just slightly. "Eyes front," he muttered to the group behind him. "Could be demons. Could be worse." The trees ahead rustled, and then 2 figures stepped through the brush. Mickey's jaw clenched as he saw them. One, tall and built like a walking tank, with a sword strapped across his back. The other, shorter but wiry, a black spear in hand, her eyes alive with mischief. Ellie smirked. "Well, that was dramatic. You always draw first, Mickey?" Oakley raised a brow, his usual stoic calm in place. "You gonna stab us, or can we talk?" Mickey didn't lower his blade just yet. Could have been anyone. You two walk like ghosts. Ellie gave a quick glance at Oakley, amused. That's kind of the point. With a heavy breath, Mickey finally sheathed his weapon. It's good to see you, I think. But you damn near got yourselves killed sneaking up like that. Oakley shrugged. If we're still alive, can't have been that close. You're lucky I'm the one on watch, Mickey muttered, glancing toward the scavengers who were just now exhaling. Ellie stepped forward, planting her spear lightly in the dirt. We've been tracking a group, she said. Saw them pass not long ago, about 6 or 7, armed but sloppy. Mickey frowned. Raiders? Could be, Oakley said. Foot spacing was off, looked like they were trying to move quiet but didn't know how. One of them dropped a ration pack, new seal, military issue. That's not common, Mickey said, folding his arms. Nope, Ellie agreed, and they're heading east. Oakley pointed through the trees, past the wreckage of a sunken roof, beyond the twisting remains of an old jungle gym. Mickey turned to follow the direction with his eyes, a low ache twisted in his gut. That's, he muttered, that's the way Ryder went. The forest suddenly seemed a little darker. He took a slow breath, the weight of it all landing. You think they're after him? Oakley's mouth twitched, half a nod. We didn't see him, just the tracks. But the way they moved, someone's leading them. Whoever it is, they're not scavengers. Ellie added, and if they're hunting, they're not hunting game. Mickey looked over his shoulder at the scavenger crew, a bunch of tired, half-trained civilians carrying sacks and tools. He clenched his jaw. I need to get these people to safe ground, he said, but if Ryder's walking into something... He didn't finish the thought. He didn't have to. Oakley offered a grim smile. We'll keep trailing the raiders. You finish your run. Ellie leaned against her spear, eyeing Mickey. Unless you'd rather switch roles. Mickey let out a dry chuckle. Not likely. Still, his gaze lingered in the direction they'd pointed. Something about it sat wrong. Ryder could handle himself, but if these weren't ordinary raiders... Stay sharp, Mickey said, voice lower now. If you catch up to them before I do, don't engage unless you have to. Oakley nodded. We'll be shadows. Ellie gave him a salute with 2 fingers. Try not to get too comfortable out here without us. Then they turned, slipping back into the trees like they'd never been there. Mickey stood still for a moment longer, watching the branches sway where they'd passed. Then he turned back to the group. Let's move, he said, but his eyes kept drifting east.